We are now 6 months away from what will undoubtedly be one of the biggest releases in video game history in quite some time. That, of course, being the latest installment in Rockstar Games' ongoing Grand Theft Auto series. Suffice it to say, GTA 6 has been one of the most anticipated games for quite some time now, especially given the 13-year gap between GTA 5 and GTA 6. But because of that, one can't help but wonder, is this game going to succeed, or is it going to crumble under the heavy fan expectations after this 13-year wait? Greetings and salutations, everybody. GamingOtakuGeek here, and this is a topic that I have had in my mind for a while because it just truly fascinates me, considering that Grand Theft Auto is one of the most popular gaming franchises in the world. And I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents regarding this subject. But of course, I want to preface this by saying that I am not a diehard Grand Theft Auto fan. If anything, I am a normie and a newcomer because my first ever game was GTA 5. For you see, I had known about Grand Theft Auto all my life. I would read about it in Game Informer, I would see clips, I would watch people play, and I would see it in retailers everywhere, be it GameStops, be it Walmarts, and what have you. But the franchise never really caught my attention. It just wasn't really the type of video game that I was like, oh man, I have got to play this. So, though I never really much cared for GTA, I always knew of its existence and its impact on gaming culture as a whole. But it wasn't until last year that I actually decided to give this series a try. And it's thanks to someone close to me who is a diehard GTA fan, and basically convinced me to, give it a shot. And so, at the recommendation, I decided to play GTA 5 as my very first game in the series. And let me tell you, it was quite an experience. I immediately felt like Danny DeVito from that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme, you know the one. And I was like, you know what? Okay. Now that I've played it for myself, I see the hype. I see the vision. The chaos and the shenanigans basically reminded me of a high-octane and epic Michael Bay explosion fest of a movie. Like, the action set pieces were truly something else. But of course, you don't need me to tell you that, because if you clicked on this video, odds are that you are very intimately familiar with the ins and outs of this franchise. And, I honestly don't really have to explain myself. But basically, for the uninitiated, Grand Theft Auto is a series that focuses on open-world sandbox gameplay where you can literally be able to do anything you want. And yes, there are stories that you follow, but you can also do side quests, and you can basically do, whatever strikes your fancy in this world. And especially if you want to cause trouble and get yourself the 5-star rating and, have the fury of the FBI raining down upon you, that's all you. And it is this formula that, across the decades, has given Rockstar heap loads of success, like heap loads of cash. And the reason that this franchise survives into the modern day is because of its devoted fanbase and the fact that it has reached into every corner of the gaming subconscious. Because for people that don't really know that much about video games, they know what Grand Theft Auto is. Just like people that don't know much about anime know who Goku is, in Dragon Ball, or for those that don't know much about comics, but they know who Spider-Man and Superman and Batman are. So it's kind of like along those same things of logic, where it's just something that's so ingrained in pop culture that even if you're not intimately familiar with it, you know of its existence. Which brings me to GTA 6. Now, of course, we know that the brand name alone carries such a degree of trust, such a degree of expectations of quality, and it has such a massive pedigree in the eyes of gamers that, the question has to be raised. Can this game succeed in the modern gaming market? Because we have to remember, GTA 5 originally came out for the PlayStation 3, and in that time, during that era of gaming, the landscape was so vastly different compared to how things are now, 13 years later. We truly do not live in the same era as we did back then, and in terms of the gaming industry, there's so much that has changed, especially when it comes to the big companies prioritizing money and prioritizing shareholders rather than actually caring about the consumer and what they want and the fans, and trying to make them happy and trying to please them in whatever way that they can. In the current gaming landscape, we have unfinished buggy games that are fixed through day one patches. We have DLC that basically feels like should have been main content of the game but was relegated to side content just to get more money out of you. Exploitative microtransactions and gacha mechanics, live service games being prioritized over single-player experiences, companies leaving franchises to die, and not to mention the ever-increasing price tags of the consoles themselves and the subscription services if you go more so for digital gaming rather than physical copies. All of these factors make people think and make people consider, is Grand Theft Auto 6 going to be a game that is worth their investment? And with the economy being in such bad shape right now, not many people shell out money for games on a frequent basis. They really wait until something comes out that they really want, and even then, they double, triple, and quadruple check multiple online reviews to see if this product that they're investing in is, worth investing in. And though yes, these are many factors that Rockstar has to consider, again, because of the pedigree of their caliber of studio and the pedigree of the Grand Theft Auto brand, I know that this game is, it is going to be successful, but, you just can't help but wonder how this is going to be compared to GTA 5. And so I posed this question to my close associate because I was very curious to hear their thoughts on the matter. They said that though they're excited for the game and they're looking forward to it, they are not too confident on the story. They then went on to say that this game basically has some big shoes to fill when it comes to engaging characters, especially considering the fact that just one game prior, GTA 5, having the most memorable protagonist in the trio of Trevor, Michael, and Franklin. Noting that the chemistry that the three of them shared was such a key component of what made GTA 5 work and why it was so well received and universally acclaimed by the fandom. And when they saw the trailer for GTA 6, they did not get that same type of vibe from Jason and Lucia. And honestly, it's a pretty fair and valid point. And while, sure, you do have the interesting dynamic that they bring to the table in the form of them being lovers and literal partners in crime, you can't help but feel that, they do indeed have some pretty big shoes to fill, because in terms of charisma, in terms of personality, in terms of depth, and in terms of just compelling storylines, you can't help but think it's like, man, but can they live up to the trio from GTA 5? Can they live up to previous Grand Theft Autos as a whole? And while this is Rockstar, we also have to take into consideration, are they going to have to scale back on some of the humor or the violence or just like the way they characterize their characters because of how different things are in the grand scheme of things in the current landscape of the world? Would they have to censor themselves, for the sake of appeasing anybody and everybody? Because the most important facet that makes Grand Theft Auto such an enduring franchise to this day is the fact that it basically takes up the mirror at society and basically reflects how society proceeds and moves along as the generations go by. And in the nature of being satire, being a parody of the world, it also just shows the truth of how, people live in the world and how, just things go from bad to worse and how crazy things get. It is literally a reflection of the world that we're living in. Would the mirror be lowered and the reflection be less clear? At the end of the day, regardless of what we think, GTA 6 is going to sell. How much it's going to sell, I honestly don't know, but it could end up outselling GTA 5. Because I honestly think that we live in a time where, despite how things may be economically, people will set down money for the newest GTA game. It's just a fact of life. This franchise has such a chokehold in gaming culture that because of the delays that this game has had, It has forced other developers, other publishers, to move around their releases because they do not want to release anywhere near this game, because they know that if they release just before or just after or even a little while after, that their games are going to tank because everyone is just going to be going after the newest GTA. That is the power that this franchise has in the gaming industry. Even if it were a less than stellar game, just the brand recognition alone would bury any and every game that release within its vicinity. So I understand the fear that all of these other competitors, all these other publishers have, with their own products, with their own games, not being able to meet their sales quotas because of GTA being such a powerhouse. Oh, and if this were to sell for $60, oh, it's over, because a $60 game at this day and age, it is a steal considering the economy. And I mean, we don't know the official price of this game yet because apparently Rockstar is still, trying to figure out what price they want to put on this game because they want to put a reasonable price on it. And with all this said, though the gameplay may be incredible and though the graphics may be out of this world, I feel that if the story does not deliver in the way the fandom is expecting it to, and the way the fandom is hoping it will, that it might put quite a dent in Rockstar's reputation and Grand Theft Auto's as a whole. But because they take it so long, because it's been a 13-year wait, I want to think that, the quality is going to be on par, if not more so. Now all that's left is to see where the pieces will fall, when all is said and done. Oh, and then there's the fact that this game releases on November 19th, which is around the time that the holidays come around, with Black Friday and Christmas and just all of that overall. It is going to be very interesting to see how this game fares in the holiday season and what other games releasing around the time are going to do. They're going to be sweating bullets because of the fact that they're trying to release within the vicinity of GTA 6. In the end, Rockstar is going to have to prove that all of this wait will have been worth it, and that the faith that everyone has put in them is well placed. And if they're able to basically navigate the waters of the current gaming landscape, they will have a surefire hit in their hands if they play their cards right. The wait has been long enough. November is just 6 months ahead of us. And now, all that's left is for Rockstar to do the rest. In due time, we will see whether or not Grand Theft Auto 6 will be the savior of the gaming industry and set gaming ablaze once more, or if it'll be crushed under the burden of expectation. And honestly, yeah, that's all I really have to say. And I honestly thought that this was fun. This was a fun video to make, and this was very fun to think about. But, those are my thoughts. I want to know what you think. For the hardcore fans and the newcomers alike, what are you most excited for when it comes to GTA 6? Do you think that this will exceed your expectations, or do you think that it will go below your expectations? Or are you just tempering them to make sure that you're not disappointed either way? All in all, I just want to hear from you and what your hype level is for GTA 6. Whatever your comments are, just chime in on the comment section below, and if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe. And until next time, this has been GamingOtakuGeek, signing out.